In my own life, simple joy and troubles followed me from the days of my youth, but yet so did the Lord. What is it in that realization that has something to tell us? As a child, although my father was a Mormon, my siblings and my mother were atheists. My father had legitimate and real faith. It was sincere in every way, but he really struggled with rage and anger. When he was a young man, he had been in a car accident, a war, a coma, and an explosion. And likely in part because one or all of these events, he had very little impulse control and could lose his temper at any moment, for even the slightest thing. But this violence went to a profound level. Many times he gathered his rifle and threatened an attempt to kill all of us and himself. The police had to intervene many times, but every time he was taken to a hotel and allowed to return home the very next day. I remember one year on Christmas Eve when such an event happened, and he returned Christmas Day. As I stood before the amply decorated Christmas tree, I heard the familiar sound of my father returning home after a similar event, and I froze in terror. And there was always the unique irony with my father, that he was a brilliant mathematician, a scientist. He had played a role in the development of rocket science, radar, and artificial intelligence. What a contrast to his inability to handle daily life at home. But we also lived in times where this type of behavior was more accepted from men than it is now. Going back to the beginning when my memories begin to surface, I remember a playful childhood with my brother and sister. I remember my mother being almost the perfection of domesticity, growing gardens, canning vegetables, cooking, cleaning, and mothering us in every way. But the dark element of my father was always present. Unfortunately for my mother, his rages were so spectacular